So if you order any of our products with so-called UCR or Amsteel guylines, you'll get these little bundles of lightweight goodness. They have about a 1,600-pound braking strength, so they're perfectly good for a hammock suspension. But they're less popular than better known whoopee slings. I think because they have a obscure name like UCR instead of Boa Sling or something like that. But there are also some differences in use that aren't as intuitive as with a whoopee sling. So I'll cover some of those. This shows it all done, right? But I'll back up a few steps to illustrate how I got it to this state. The first thing to note is that these consist of an orange piece of rope and a black piece of rope. And the orange piece of rope is the one that you have running down to the ground for visibility to avoid tripping over it, for instance. And the black piece of rope is what attaches to the pole. And there's I don't know if this is in frame, but I'll do this one. We have these little fail safes on the tails. They're bits of black aluminum. And what they do is prevent this tail from starting to ride up the line. For instance, if somebody trips over your guy line, enough vibration can cause this tail to start slipping up. And if that slips up enough, what'll happen, you see that? The whole thing loosens. So that phenomena, the slipping of a UCR unintentional, has made this a less popular choice. So I'm going to retension this, and I'll tension it up in a manner that shows something important. Instead of trying to grab this and squeeze the rope through like this, right, to tension it up, which is what a lot of people do, take the standing line and loop it around what you're attached to, right? And then pull straight back toward the anchor. This gives 2-to-1 mechanical advantage, right? So when you've got the tension I want, I now have slack here in the shuttle or the constrictor part. I'm going to pull that, and then sliding along, I'm doing what's called milking the berry. Not like the berry of the fruit, but the buried part of the line. Anyway, that tension now holds. I can get this actually really tight, pull it, do it again. The other side, same thing, loop it around, pull backwards. I'm putting a lot of tension on this, but you see some slack here. It'll hold that tension. And again, these little aluminum fail safes, light duty tensioners, prevent the line from detensioning under load. So to back up completely, I'll detension this all the way deliberately. You see the whole thing, starts to fall apart. I'll back up as if I hadn't already set this up. So now neither line is attached, and I've just got the hammock suspended from something else over there. And this, another little detail, I'll drop these for a moment. I'll just drop the hammock. When you get a Tensa Solo, the whole assembly will look like this, and it'll have, or should have, this Tensa toggle loop. Used to be a ball loop. We've now replaced the balls with proper toggle shaped things. Will be lark's headed or slipped over the top section. If it comes off, you should know how to put it back on. It's just fed through itself and becomes a constrictor like that. It's generally best to pull these out from the large to the small end. And that's our full 5-segment tall. And this just slides freely, right? It can't, because this is a self-tightening structure, once you put a load on it, there's no way that this can slide down from the smaller diameter top section to the next larger diameter section below it. And that's what provides the kind of a shelf for on top of which the guy lines must go. It's important that where the hammock is attached and where the guy lines attach are always at the same point on the pole. If you have the guy lines attached up here and the hammock here, and you load the hammock, you will break the pole instantaneously. So don't do that. Got that one end is attached to the anchor on the ground. This is the way, you know, the black end normally looks, and that little loop could be, it might be big enough to fit over, but you shouldn't do that. What you should do is also make it a self-constricting, so feed the line through itself. So now it tightens on itself, and feed it over, cinch it up. I'll let that be loose for a moment. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Here I had already fed it through, right? So we have that self-tightening loop. It's called a lark's head. It's useful in all kinds of contexts. And again, we have a loosey-goosey here. How do we get it tight? Take the orange line, wrap it around the pole, milk the berry. Same over here, milk the berry. You can also put tension in the pole by changing, you know, just how upright the pole is. It's a good practice generally to keep this angle, you know, you don't want an angle like that, real shallow. But a right angle here is good. If you make this real upright, it puts undue stress on the anchors, and it's probably a higher hang point than you want when it's straight upright. You can have longer suspension here to drop the hammock if you want to have the pole upright generally, but generally it's a good idea to angle the pole so that you have roughly a right angle here. It's not an exact science. Excuse my belch. I'm not going to edit that out, because if I edit out all my mistakes, these videos never get made. I know too well. If this hang point is too high, let's say that was a bridge hammock. It gets hung from lower points than a gathered end hammock. And I didn't want to try to, you know, lower the pole by leaning it so much because the foot would slip out or who knows what. If you just want a lower hang point, what can you do? Well, the same manner that this just constricts around the top lip, you can go down to the next node, as it were, on the pole and hang this way, right? No, don't do that, because these points must be, the guy lines and the hammock hang point always must be at the same height on the pole. So that's acceptable as well. I don't think this is previously documented anywhere, but when you understand how it works, it's you can kind of make up the rules as you go, even. So finishing up the job of getting ready for the night, I might lay down in the hammock. That would bed in the anchors, might reintroduce some play into the system, and you can go back, retension the lines so that you have a stable setup for your hammock. That is approximately all I can think of right now for how to work these UCRs or Boa Slings.